the queen of Nepo baby stepping into the chat and being wrong per usual. So the Oscars was this past Sunday. I was really excited to see there were quite a few celebrities wearing the red pin that signified a support of ceasefire, Mark Ruffalo being one of them.
It's starting, we're late. The Palestinian protest shut down the Oscars tonight. Humanity wins.
So the biggest sign of protest actually came when Jonathan Glazer, the winner of best, I think the category he won in was the best international film. His film centered around a family that lived next door to Auschwitz. And the whole point of the film was to show how this family who lived so closely to a death camp just went through their everyday lives. The father went off to work into the camp and no one really batted an eye. Once his film was called, as he won the Oscar, he went on stage and this was his speech.
Thank you to the Academy for this honour, and to our partners A24, Film 4 Access and the Polish Film Institute, to the Auschwitz-Birkenau State Museum for their trust and guidance, to my producers, actors, collaborators. All our choices were made to reflect and confront us in the present, not to say, look what they did then, rather look what we do now. Our film shows where dehumanization leads at its worst. It shaped all of our past and present. Right now, we stand here as men who refute their Jewishness and the Holocaust being hijacked by an occupation which has led to conflict for so many innocent people. Whether the victims of October the 7th in Israel, or the ongoing attack on Gaza, all are victims of this dehumanization. How do we resist?
So that was his speech, and of course, the right and Zionists all over the world got upset. One of my favorite Nepo babies.
My father.
So my father, Meghan Mccain, decided to tweet about Jonathan Glazer's speech, and it goes as this. A lot of people in Hollywood showing their ass when a man gets on stage to, in quotes, refute his Jewishness, and half the room claps. And you know that is not what he said. Actually, let me clip it for you.
Right now, we stand here as men who refute their Jewishness and the Holocaust being hijacked by an occupation which has led to conflict for so many innocent people.
Now, weirdly enough, Meghan McCain has decided to make herself the queen of Zionism for some strange reason. To my knowledge, she's not Jewish, and honestly, you don't have to be Jewish to be a Zionist. You know, do what you want, but I just don't believe that Zionism should be uplifted at the expense of Palestinians. Meghan McCain has a long history of virtue signaling when it comes to any topic regarding Israel. Let's not forget when she cried on The View talking about Ilhan Omar's anti-Semitic comments, which were not anti-Semitic at all.
I take this very personally. I would go so far as to say I probably verge on being a Zionist as well. But I will say that I don't have family that is Jewish, but Joe Lieberman and Hadassah Lieberman are my family.
Yeah.
And I take the hate crimes rising in this country incredibly seriously, and I think what's happening in Europe is really scary. And I'm sorry if I'm getting emotional, but
you're right.
The idea that this is politicized, I'm really not. I was very nervous to talk about this on the show because I thought it would become politicized, and it really shouldn't be. On both sides, it should be called out.
Right.
And just because I don't technically have Jewish family that are blood related to me, it doesn't mean I don't take this as seriously, and it is very dangerous. Very dangerous. And I think we all collectively as Americans on both sides, and what Ilhan Omar is saying is very scary to me, and it's very scary to a lot of people, and I don't...
And get back to the responses of her stupid tweet. One of my favorite people in media that is actually starting their own media company, Mehdi Hassan, he tweeted in response to her tweet, "That's not what he did. This is a lie. It's a complete cutoff distortion of his full quote. But now this lie has gone viral, and people like Meghan McCain are refusing to delete their disinformation tweets despite hundreds of people informing/correcting them. Shameful." So the only thing that I appreciate about Elon Musk taking over Twitter is that he did keep the fact box that basically lets people know if the tweet is incorrect or gives you context. And so essentially, under her tweet that she still has up 3 days after she tweeted, it basically says, misleading. Quoted text is a small fragment of the original statement and misses important context. The full statement was, we stand here as men who refute their Jewishness and the Holocaust being hijacked by an occupation which has led to conflict for so many innocent. So, interestingly enough, Meghan McCain takes it upon herself to respond to Mehdi Hasan and says, no peace, bitch. Not sure how that jives within what the topic is, but I guess she's saying no ceasefire ever. Mediaite actually did a headline on this and basically says, like, Meghan McCain doubles down on smear of Jewish filmmaker, no peace, bitch. Then she responds, yeah, no one, including this dog shit headline, is going to make me back down from thinking Jonathan Glazer's speech is garbage. I know it's rough. For so many in the media, there are pro-Israel advocates with large audiences. Release the hostages, no ceasefire. At this point, I almost feel like the IDF has killed more hostages than Hamas at this point. Another response from Jane over at the Young Turks. So you're falsely and maliciously attacking a Jewish filmmaker calling for peace and decency by saying no peace, bitch? Well, that at least clarifies your position. You're just as monstrous as your dad was. More war was his only option as well. Now, I did see a lot of people under this tweet basically saying like, yeah, she's horrible, but you don't have to bring your dad into it. I think when someone is as malicious and as horrible and bloodthirsty as Meghan McCain is, all's fair, honestly. All is fair. Then Meghan McCain responds to Jane, somebody should give me an award for how consistently successful I am able to trigger unhinged progressive man boys. Meghan McCain has never truly had to work for anything in her life. The amount of importance that she thinks she has is it's impressive, actually. Like, I would love that level of delusion. Like, she actually thinks she's worked for everything that she had. And when we know that's not the case, because we know she all got it because of her.
My father, my father's my father, my father, my father, my